So there's a feeling in the Old Testament that it was like things were hard then, that God was really strict, right? And in the New Testament things are easy. And like it's easy to be a Christian, but it was really hard to be a Jew in the Old Testament because they had all these rules and it was like difficult. Then you're like, if you go, and that's just how I was raised, and you read Matthew 5, 6, and 7, and you're like, wait a minute, Jesus, he's actually harder to follow than Moses. He's got these really strict rules. Like it seems impossible to be a Christian. It's called the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5, 6, and 7. It's like you have to turn the other cheek. If someone asks to borrow money, you have to give it to them. Like you can't hold grudges. Like you can't swear oaths. It's like there's so many. It's so difficult to be a Christian if you read the Sermon on the Mount. And what's funny is you go then to Matthew 11 and it says, "My yoke is easy, my burden is light." And you're like, Jesus, did you read what you just wrote in Matthew 5, 6, and 7? Like, no, it's actually super difficult to be a Christian. You're saying it's easy, but it feels impossible to be a Christian, to really follow all the things that Jesus said. And then you keep going and you get to this Matthew 17, kind of weird story. It's about where Jesus and Peter have to pay the temple tax. And Jesus said, do you think that it's the son that has to pay? Like the temple, that's my dad's house. Why should the son have to pay the tax? And Peter's like, yeah, no, you shouldn't have to. And Jesus said, so that we don't cause offense, he says, go and put your fishing line into the water and you're going to pull up a fish and inside there'll be 2 coins, one for your tax and one for mine. And, the burden of that tax was too much for Peter. He didn't have any money. He had no ability to pay that tax. He had to do it, but he didn't have the ability to do it. And Jesus said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pay it for you. That is Christianity. You cannot follow all the rules. You cannot do it. Christianity is no easier than Judaism was. It is really difficult to live the life of a Christian. But if you let Jesus pay it, it becomes easy. His yoke is easy and his burden is light. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.